Vickers, who I met in Vietnam some weeks ago, and I saw his talk about YouTube SEO and YouTube branding. I thought that was so exciting, so I brought him in here for us to have a talk about that. So, Stewart, I will just let you in here to welcome to the show.
Hi, Christopher.
So, anyway, Stewart, we met up in Vietnam last week, and 2 weeks ago, right? So, and that was the first time we met up, and we had a great time at the SEO Mastery Summit. And you also, I think you went on some holiday afterwards, or some. You had a retreat or something after the summit as well.
Business retreat. Yeah. But yeah, it wasn't. On one hand, when you get a load of people together, there is that motivation to work, but at the same time, there was that sense of, really, I need to go home to get the real work done.
And you're back now in the real world, right?
Yes, back in London now.
Excellent. So, Stewart, just for the audience, I can see they're coming slowly in. Maybe we could just do a quick introduction to yourself. It would be great to hear what you're doing, what's your background.
So I'm Stewart Vickers. I studied history of art at University College London, loving London life, and I didn't have a whole lot of contact time. So started looking for part-time jobs, and I was fortunate enough to end up with a role as a menswear writer. And that's where they basically told me about when you're doing blogging, if you use certain keywords, then we actually make money out of it. I thought, great, I've always wanted to be a writer, didn't know how to make money out of it. So that's when I first really discovered SEO. So that was probably 2016, 17, something like that. And then had various jobs in the meantime, then got into the affiliate world, started launching my own sites. Like all of us for a long time, didn't really understand what I was doing, thinking I'm just going to write a blog post about what I think is interesting and then put some random keyword in the Yoast box at the bottom and then hopefully get traffic. And then you realize over time, certain articles did really well because I'd written about stuff that people are already searching for. And if it's actually products that people are searching for, then you tend to make money from that content as well. So that's when it all clicked. Don't worry about everything else. Just write what people are actually searching for. So then ended up in a few insurance jobs, and then eventually ended up in quite a big insurance role. The first one, I'd done a great job of transforming their SEO strategy, got them up to 50 grand a month. This is after spending 10 grand a month on paid ads that just weren't working, and yet a few blog posts ranked and transformed their business. With that, joined a much bigger insurance corporation, and they actually had 2 SEO agencies, neither of which seemed to be doing that well. And I was just looking at the delivery, and I thought, you're charging a lot of money for not a lot. So it's now my ambition to go out there and start a better SEO agency with all the skills I've acquired. So from there, obviously a rush to get clients. I'd sold one of my affiliate projects. I used that basically to bankroll the start of the agency, where I just got out to events and got talking to more business owners. So that grew the agency really nicely. But then I was still a nobody. There were still plateaus, still quite difficult to scale. Then September 2023, I really started hitting YouTube, and that just took off. So you're used to trying all these different channels, different ways of marketing yourself, and then suddenly you just get something that completely takes off, like YouTube. And so from there, ended up doing a video per day, and haven't looked back since. So now getting the speaking gigs, now getting much more podcast interviews. So personal brand just took off on the back of YouTube.
Okay. And that has been a very vital touch point in your career, which is the classic SEO university path, right? I mean, just by coming into this industry by coincidence, I think as all of us SEO specialists, I think it's what I want out of this this talk is actually, when people have heard this, they are much more prone to use YouTube as a channel, both for branding, both for getting leads. And I thought maybe we could just start out with the point of getting started on YouTube, because I think that's whether you are an SEO or doing any other kind of consultancy work, I think just getting started is a tough thing to do. I mean, what's your what are your thoughts on this, and how do you actually recommend that people get started?
Yeah, so first of all, I admit I feel a bit of an imposter sometimes when you think you're meant to be an SEO guy and yet you got big through YouTube. But most marketers understand you've got to fit the channel you're actually serving. So I do a lot of lead gen for, I said, insurance, law firms, those kinds of niches. SEO is the play because someone needs that service now and they Google it. As soon as you're into anything that's more consultative, more of a service offering, then YouTube really is a cheat code. Now, the incredible thing about YouTube is you can get massive reach very quickly. In my case, my first video, just playing around, got 10,000 views within about 48 hours. And that's when I thought, okay, this is actually working. Complete turnaround from let's write a blog post and wait 6 months for it to actually rank. So, yeah, highly recommended. I wanted to get started on YouTube for a long time, but I was always getting held up on I need the right camera, I need the right microphone, got to either find video editing software or hire a video editor. And the fact is, these are all distractions. As I said in my talk, that first video that got 10,000 views, it was a very simple screen share. And what actually happened was I tried using, I think it's the default Mac editing software, something like that. And I exported the wrong video quality because I didn't know what I was doing. So I uploaded this in 360p. And I got all these trolls in the comments saying, "You idiot, why have you exported this in such a low format?" But I think the real key there, it was actually a friend of mine she's a massive languages YouTuber, one of the biggest. And one of her biggest pieces of advice was people worry about perfection. They worry about getting trolls. The fact is, imperfection helps. In her case, she said she once did my top 5 tips for whatever, and she forgot to do number 4. And there's all this backlash on Twitter, on YouTube, saying you forgot number 4, people getting really angry. And actually, it just made her blow up because of all the engagement. So that was an amazing turning point when you realize not only does it not have to be perfect, it might actually be better for you if it's imperfect. So as soon as you embrace that, it becomes so much easier. So in my case, yeah, it's all about absolute easiest form of execution. So I use Descript, which is a screen recorder. I used to use Loom. And Descript basically has a few features where the biggest problem for most of us is the blank spaces or the filler words. So if you're not too confident, obviously we're recording this live, but if I'm doing quite a complex tutorial, I'm regularly pausing and stopping. Now to manually edit it, like we would have done 2 or 3 years ago, you'd have to be going through the timeline, doing split clip here and then dragging it back or trying to find all those gaps and manually take them out. The script basically automatically transcribes as you're recording, and then you press one button, it takes out all the blank spaces. So that's just an instant turnaround. So generally my routine for recording is I get a vague idea of what I'm talking about. It's not scripted. I've just got a rough idea of my structure. I do the recording. If I feel myself losing my chain of thought, then I just pause. Don't keep talking because that will get recorded. If I just pause and take a breath, then that's just a blank space that's going to get taken out. So stop the recording, clear the blank spaces. At the time when I started, I was just using my laptop microphone, didn't bother with a proper microphone. There's a button in Descript that makes even your standard laptop microphone sound like a podcast studio. And then you're basically done. And I'd say 8 times out of 10, that's pretty much it. And again, it won't be perfect, but doing that, you can literally record 5 videos in a day. And what I'm always telling people is some people have really nailed down YouTube to an extent that they publish one video and it gets 50,000 views, and they'll do 8 videos that year. I don't know how to do that. I can reliably get 1,000 views on my video. Getting to the 10, 20, 30,000, that's always been a friction point with me. Maybe because of the niche that we're in. It's quite technical, it's quite intense. And so I don't bother. I just try and do as many videos as I can and try and hit that 1,000 views mark consistently. And to do that, I need ease of execution. So it's just laptop, screen recording. I do now have a microphone. I've got a Rode. I used to use my phone as the webcam because if you've got a MacBook, it'll actually connect automatically. If you don't have an iPhone, then there's an app called Camo, which will basically enable your laptop to connect to your phone as a webcam. Just put that in a simple mount above where your ring light is.
Yeah, I think we can probably show a slide from Vietnam with that setup just to buy. You can get on Amazon a quick way of setting up the video. But what I'm also thinking is that I remember I I used to be interviewed for a podcast, and there was this Danish guy who interviewed SEO consultants for his podcast, and what actually happened was that over half a year nothing was published because it took so much editing time to get the podcast ready, because of, you see, there are filler words and everything. And I think we just have to understand today that there are tools to fix all this for us. The editing room has just been automated, right? I mean, with all these tools available. So the technical side of it is not a hindrance anymore. But what would you
myself? I'll use that button to remove blank spaces, and I can get quite precious again about rewatching the whole video and making sure it's all seamless. And sometimes I just step back and think it is not worth you spending an hour to try and make sure that every blank space is fixed and so on. If you said in the video, it's not a big deal. People are here for your content. So again, embrace imperfection. And that's, even now, I still have to step back and remind myself it doesn't have to be perfect. So just ship it and worry about it later. Got one question. Can you mention the software you use? So that's Descript. So kind of like description, but Descript. It's like Loom, very simple video recorder, but then it's got all these additional features to then take out the blank spaces, clean up the audio. If you want to, it makes it quite easier actually to, if you want to switch between your face and your screen, then it's recording both simultaneously. So you can always take that box of your face and drag that out and then alternate between the two. And again, just keep it simple.
Yeah, I also think that, talking to you, Stewart, it also seems like you're a calm, relaxed guy, and this thing about getting up on screen and just doing the thing. I think it can block many people. Many people will think, oh, it has to be perfect for me to get on screen. But I've done 60 of these LinkedIn Lives. I don't mind participating in kind of podcasts, and I think that this thing about just going live or doing this thing and push it out. I think that's also something that you have to work on this to get started, right? I mean, just do it is a way of just starting out.
I'm actually quite shy, and a lot of people see me being quite extroverted. I look different, things like that. But no, generally, I'm not the sort of person to, if I'm out in public, or in a bar or something, I'm not the sort of person to go up and make conversation with someone. And even when I get on stage it could be 20 people, it could be 400 people, I get really nervous on those speaking gigs. In fact, the worst I had was actually SEO Rockstars in Vegas. There were only about 20 to 30 people in the room, but they were quite high-level people. So there's this amazing inconsistency where you think my average video gets 1,000 views. I've had videos that get 10,000 views, and yet if I've got a room of 50 people, then I get nervous. So I think there's a lot to be said for the fact that you're talking to a camera rather than talking to actual people. You're basically tricking yourself. You don't realize how many people you're actually speaking to. And I think, live is very different to offline. I don't do a whole lot of live stuff. I think my business probably would grow if I got on YouTube and did a live more regularly. But even right now, I'm not nervous about it, but I'm a lot more on edge than when I'm just doing a screen share, knowing that no one's watching, I can edit it, I can forget about it, whatever. So to actually answer your question, there are a lot of YouTubers doing very well, not even showing their face. I'm not talking about faceless AI. I mean, do a screen share, but just turn off your camera. There are some people who've done extremely well just doing screen shares like that. If you're so nervous you don't even want to do that, then take the transcript either you've recorded or you've written, go into 11 Labs, do your screen share, and then overlay an AI voiceover on your screen share if you're really that nervous about it.
Yeah. Okay, excellent. So I think that was the first section. This is just how to get started, both technically and mentally. What about when we go into what are the topics that you decide upon when you create a YouTube video?
So many people make the mistake of, we're all the experts at what we're specialists in, and people make the mistake of assuming that everyone else cares to the same extent you do. So we think it needs to be impressive, it needs to be next level. So we burrow down to these extreme niches of stuff that's interesting to us, but 99% of your audience isn't there yet. They just want the the plain and simple, how do I achieve my dream outcome? So that's a constant challenge I'm pushing back with YouTube, that you need quality content, you need something that's exciting to show, but the overall sell, the overall pitch and structure just needs to be how to achieve what you want to achieve. And for many people in SEO, that's just how to make more money online, how to get more website traffic, how to build your site faster. As soon as you dig down into my perfect no follow versus do follow ratio, or what anchor text you should build and things like that, you just alienate most of your audience. That doesn't mean you won't sell. I think that's really good conversion content, where if you've got a funnel there and people are coming in, low volume videos that only get 200 views can absolutely get clients, because you might find those are the right clients who then realize that you're the expert that they need. But generally speaking, especially when you're just starting out, try and go for volume. Try and get that 2,000-3,000 views a video by saying how to rank one, how to build your site, how to get more website traffic.
And I understood that from Vietnam, that you have a formula for videos, both when it comes to thumbnail and when it comes to the benefit driven title.
Yeah.
Could you let us know this formula that you're using?
Yeah. So we're all humans here, right? And we're all quite basic. I certainly am. So when it comes to fighting for all that attention on YouTube, what are you most likely to click on? It's typically how to get what I want, how to get my absolute dream outcome without actually having to do any work or spend any money. Now, again, that sounds like an imposter. In the video, you do actually need to give quality content. But the fact is, no matter how good that content is, you still need to package it up and sell it. Otherwise, no one's going to pay attention to it. So take your really good, detailed, insightful video, but turn it into how to achieve your dream outcome without actually doing any work. Or faster, cheaper. It's a very classic copywriting principle, actually, of how to achieve X without X. Loads of people have tested that over time, and it works every time. It's just human nature.
And then you have the thumbnail, right? That's the surprised look on your face, right? Oh, that's a classic one, right?
Exactly. So thumbnails are all about heuristics, that idea of what's the sort of gut instinctive feeling it inspires. So obviously on YouTube, you've got a whole wall of thumbnails. You're competing for attention, and it's this really primitive, instinctive thing of the gut reaction of clicking on that one. So you want a large reaction face. It doesn't necessarily have to be the wide-eyed shock, but you definitely want tension, curiosity. And those people, when they start out, they'll do like a full-length portrait as their YouTube thumbnail, looking quite serious, and that doesn't really communicate that kind of heuristic. So what you'll notice a lot of the top YouTubers doing, whether it's Hormozy, Mr. Beast, they've always got a very large face. So in the thumbnail, they'll literally stretch their face so it takes up the full thumbnail with the shocked expression, because that's how you trigger that human instinct. It's literally, this area, the eyes, the face, the mouth, and the chin and the top of the head don't really achieve much. And then with that, once you've got that attention, that curiosity, you want to try and create a kind of tension and knowledge gap. So you can use graphical elements, whether it's a striped dashboard or a graph going like that. You want to just hint at this missing piece that you're about to reveal.
Okay. But I think also, I mean, I've been watching your videos, Stewart, and there's a lot of great content in there. I mean, I think, are you sure that it's just about finding out this is a great topic for me to talk about, because that could get a lot of views, and I can do this formula to get the right title, the benefit-driven title, to get the face view, and etc. I mean, you're not getting very far if the content is not very good. It's my argument, and you're doing a lot of experiments. I mean, you're doing a lot of first-party data. You're not just taking somebody else's work and presenting that. I mean, don't you think that's a big part of the formula for being successful?
It's very true. So my biggest bottleneck with content, it doesn't take me long to record a video. My issue is having enough quality, insightful content. So trying to build into my team more and more testing processes. So basically saying, you go away and do the test and then just present me with the information that I can deliver. But generally, that hasn't been too successful. It's still very much down to me to try and find these next level strategies. But the pushback there, I still say, you look at any new YouTuber in our niche who's blowing up right now, and you look at the videos that are really getting the traffic, And again, it is so simple. It is how to launch WordPress, how to build a website that does this, SEO strategies for 2025, link building strategies for 2025. So, and a lot of those are just fulfilling kind of the basic stuff. Link building 2025, do guest posting, do digital PR, do press releases. It's really not that difficult. So yeah, for the majority of people, you're going to publish a few videos and you're only going to get 100, 200 views. But it's very likely you are going to get clients from that. It's very likely you're going to be able to build an email list from that. In my case, I'm going for the multiple seven figures. I live in London. I still got this vision. I walk through certain parts of London where you've got this £5 million townhouse. You've got the Ferrari out the front. And that's kind of my motivation at the moment. It doesn't pain me that I don't have that. I've got a comfortable life. But just in terms of you're a product of your environment, I'm very keen to move to Thailand or Vietnam, but I sense I'd probably lose a lot of my ambition if I felt that you can live for $1,000 a month, therefore I only need to make $1,000 a month. Whereas in London, perfectly happy, but there's always that sense of it could be fun to go out there and make 5-10 million, get the house, get the car. So therefore, everything I do with my channel is all about volume, velocity. I tend to go hard on if there's a particular project I'm going down, then obviously I want to win and I go hard. But not everyone has to do a video per day. Not everyone has to do the latest next generation hack of Reddit or manipulating Ahrefs volumes. All these more advanced techniques I do. So many people in our industry, they've got good skills. They just need to sell more and get more clients. And you can do that literally by saying how to rank one on the map pack, how to optimize your GMB profile, how to write a press release, how to launch a site on Go High Level or WordPress. How to 5 times your profit this month by actually calling back the clients who have inquired.
I mean, exactly. It is definitely about having a grit in order to be ambitious about your marketing strategy. I don't know if you can reveal any numbers, but you showed me a graph at Vietnam before and after YouTube regarding agency work. Perhaps you could take us a little bit through this, the business model that you see for you when you're using YouTube, because for me, what you have developed is an ecosystem, right? You talked about leaving money on the table before. Maybe you can elaborate more on your model versus regarding how to use YouTube effectively in your business.
Exactly. So let me just think what the 80-20 is here. So loads of us just starting out on an online business, we start a service business, we start an agency because we see these people doing 10, 20, even 50 grand a month and think, great, I want to make 50 grand a month. And for most people, that's fantastic. That's life-changing. But what you generally find is agencies are a great way to start out. They're a pain in the ass to actually continue to grow. And some people do that very well. Some people do have the $5 million, the $10 million agency. And I got some great advice from a few friends. And also it was actually Alex Becker had a good video on it. Agencies are a great way to start, but then as you scale, the problems also scale. So if it's just you and a couple of freelancers and you're doing anywhere between 10 and 50 grand a month, then that's great. You've probably got a solid 50% margin there. But it can be very easy to get to the situation where you're making $200,000 a month. You've got this massive headache, a lot of people on both sides, handling clients, handling the team, and your margin gets withered down to 20, even 10%. So actually, in those terms, you're better off with a small agency than a big agency. So what a lot of smart business owners do, we're always told, keep on compounding what works. If you've got an agency that's working, keep doing the agency. But there's this contrarian argument. There's actually, it's a great way to start. It's not really where you want to end up. Some people love it. A lot of people hate it. And for many people, it's just a direct path to burnout. So what a lot of people then do is they pivot into things more like e-com, info products, SaaS. These things are much more mass market, a lot more hands-off, cheaper, but they're high margin. So in my case, I still had this Alex Hormozi's advice. You want one product, one channel until you hit 1 million. So for the first year or two of my channel, I thought, that's it. I'm just going to do more and more videos until I get more clients, and I've got consistent 7 figures every year. And we got pretty close, but there was kind of a ceiling there, particularly because I've got this content velocity, because my primary job is lead gen with YouTube and also producing the content for YouTube. Then you get into this trap where Therefore, I can't be so focused on agency operations. So we're quite well delegated, we're quite well structured, we've got a good team in place. But even then, do I really want to scale this further? Now we've kept it going. Yeah, I'm running ads much more to the agency now because it's a high ticket service. It can work well with ads. But in terms of what I actually want, the easier life, I started doing things like launching courses. And you suddenly realize that over time, I have built this big audience. And people were saying to me, does YouTube really work for an agency? Do you actually get clients from YouTube? And the answer was absolutely yes. What I wasn't realizing was for every one of those clients I got that were high ticket, I was leaving 9 out of 10 people just sitting on my email list, not buying anything from me. And you suddenly realize that actually you start launching these lower ticket offers, these coaching courses, software, whatever else, start offering those to this much bigger audience, this 99% of people you've ignored. And suddenly that was a whole separate revenue stream. And when I say revenue stream, I mean profit stream, because you launch a course, you do 40, 50 grand, and you realize what would the equivalent agency revenue take to make that kind of profit? If your agency is only doing a 20% margin, but you make 50 grand from a course, then that's the equivalent of a $250,000 agency month. Yeah. And you've got a lot less of the headache as well. Yeah. So a lot less processes and team involved.
Yeah, exactly. So that was actually because I've started doing courses as well, and I also see it as definitely an interesting revenue stream. So that's something I took from your talk, that you actually, if you're pitching on your channel, or if you're pitching on your channel for a certain audience, some of these people will buy, you say maybe it's 1 out of 10 will be interesting for this, but actually the other 9 out of 10 are also interested in your brand in some way, and you have to find out, what else can you offer, what else can you monetize, right? That's a good question to ask.
Exactly. It's all addition. This is not a pivot. It's not that I'm killing the agency and only doing courses. But for the same amount of work that I'm already doing with my YouTube brand, with my agency, introducing the courses as a separate revenue stream, that's been largely effortless. It's been very much an addition, a bolt-on, rather than the conscious choice of, I can't do this anymore, I'm going to do this instead. So actually, you're just adding these cash flow streams on top of what you've already got. And crucially, it all comes down to lead generation. We're getting really disciplined to make sure that every video you publish, not only using those hooks, those thumbnails to try and get the 1,000 views, but making sure you're using conversion rate principles to get as many people onto your email list, so that whether they're going to be a client, whether they're going to buy a course or buy anything else from you, you're ultimately building up that customer lifetime value, getting as many people onto your actual list to build your super fans, basically.
Yeah. And what about all the field experience you get, Stewart, from YouTube or other channels? Are you using this as part of your product offering in the agency?
My what experience? Sorry.
I mean, you get a lot of field experience from doing YouTube. So I assume also that the clients that you have in the agency, they could be interested in YouTube suddenly as a product offering. And I mean,
like I said, there is that almost contradiction that, okay, you're this big SEO guy, and yet you've got big through YouTube, so surely you should be doing more of the YouTube stuff. So yeah, there is an element there. I've got a YouTube course, YouTube book. We have looked at different sort of YouTube service offerings. I'd say it's still very much a maybe at this stage. But like I say, service businesses, great to start, but maybe not necessarily a long-term strategy. So I think, educating and coaching people on YouTube, for me, is probably a much better product all round than trying to deal with how are we going to record you, get you saying the right thing and managing your channel for you. That looks like quite a big headache. Whereas, as you can see, my process is quite lean, and we can install that into so many people. So buy my YouTube course, and then maybe we've got a few simple services on the back end, whether it's thumbnail creation or engagement signals to get your video trending, things like that.
Do you see other channels here in the future lying ahead in the roadmap which could be interesting to invest in? Or are you already doing experiments on other channels, other upcoming channels?
Yeah, so to that point, I've realized that SEO was a fantastic starting point to me, but as I step back, I realized I am much more of a 360 marketer now that I'm doing things like agency coaching for other SEOs. Like I said earlier, there are so many SEOs out there who've got fantastic SEO skill, but they just need to market themselves better. So actually stepping back and talking a lot more about what I've done in terms of the YouTube stuff, the sales funnel stuff, lead gen, actually nurturing a list, launching info products, that's kind of more exciting to me at the moment.
Okay.
So one perfect example is I'm doing these lead magnets for my YouTube videos anyway. So I'm getting into the discipline that every YouTube video I publish, there needs to be a custom resource, a custom lead magnet for that particular video, not just a generic, come find my email newsletter. Here's the SOP, here's the guide, the resource for this specific video. That's how we can get that 10% opt-in rate from the emails. But what you then find is you've already done that lead magnet. So that's now valuable. So I'm trying to get better at actually going cross-channel with that. And I do a lot of the LinkedIn engagement bait, where just take the video transcript, put it into Claude, and basically instruct it, give me this post that says, I've unlocked this incredible way to achieve X, comment this word below, and I'll send it to you. Include that with a screenshot. And then you can get enormous reach on that. People are doing it on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, getting all these people to comment, yes, send me the link. And what that does is it blows up your post. But at the same time, you're also getting those emails by then messaging them with a link to the resource.
Yeah. So you're creating, that's what I understood, you're creating an SOP from the actual content of the video, right? I mean, that's you can create the lead gen content by converting the video into an SOP, for instance.
Exactly. And lately I'm trying to get more and more complex with that. Now that you've seen the latest ChatGPT image update, what I'm now trying to do is every lead magnet I do, I try and create a physical mock-up of that lead magnet, because we're much more likely to buy something if it looks tangible, even though we know it's a digital product. Just a screenshot of a Google Doc isn't very appealing. Whereas if you've got a nice mock-up of that Google Doc on a laptop screen or on a phone, it just feels a lot more, much more of a product. So what I'm generally doing now is recording my valuable video content, taking the full transcript, putting that into Claude, adding a load of extra stuff to turn it into more like a proper ebook, then going over to ChatGPT and say, give me a really nice mock-up of this ebook, the cover, the course, whatever it is. And then not only can we use that on the landing page, even the landing page, actually, I use Elementor, as many of us do, but I'm not the best designer in the world. What I'm increasingly doing is going over to Claude and saying, design me the HTML for this landing page in Elementor. So I can just copy it, insert a HTML block in Elementor, paste in the code, and you've then got a really beautiful landing page with all the images done and everything. So because of that, it's only taking me minutes to take my existing video, produce the landing page, and actually design the landing page, and we have the ebook from it. So then now we're getting into the paid ads territory, where giving away lead magnets on YouTube for free is great. But if you've done a good job of that lead magnet, in theory, it's worth testing with Facebook ads, where you have a $7 ebook, run it to an audience, and then within that funnel, you can then have a load of upsells, where first you've got a $7 ebook, but then the upsell to maybe $27 is then the actual video you recorded. And from that, we're already testing on YouTube what people are interested in, what are they watching, what are they signing up for. But when you're on some winners, you might as well test those on Facebook ads as well, where you realize, okay, we've now got our 2025 link building guide. Let's put this on Facebook, charge $7 for it, have the course on the back end. It's low ticket, so it's only more like a webinar, if you like. And then from that, you can potentially set your lead generation on autopilot and build a much bigger list, because those low ticket offers are paying for your ad spend. And then you end up with this virtuous cycle where, yes, you're getting organic leads from YouTube, but you're also getting the paid leads from Facebook. And also you can then nurture the paid leads from Facebook by getting them into your YouTube audience so they fully discover your brand.
After this video, Stewart, I will take this talk and put it into ChatGPT to create the visual model of what you just explained to me, because it was a very nice explanation. I think
you need to use both. So Claude, fantastic for anything written, ebooks, deep content like that. But yeah, for the mock-up, then take what Claude's given you, go to ChatGPT and say, design me the mock-up for this. And actually, because of that update yesterday, it can now do the Facebook ads as well. So I'm having lots of success of design me the mock-up, and now give me 50 different ad variations to test.
Excellent. I'm playing around a lot with the Bold and Lovable at the moment to create app ideas or interactive maps and all this, and there's so much to be done. And of course, you have to make the SEO Jesus action figure now with the new ChatGPT, right? That's also.
Oh, I hadn't thought of that one. That'd be a good one.
Anyway, I think we should. I think there's a question we can just take it at the end. But I think what would be good here to finish off, Stewart, is just let's try to do 5 actions if we are in a situation where we want to really get something out of YouTube, going from getting started. Going from what should be the formula to get a popular video, collect the lead, and I mean maybe you could just sum it up like 3 or 5 action points just for to get started on creating YouTube, which generates leads and creates brand.
Yep. So most of the discussions I'm having with other agency owners at the moment are, the market is quite tough at the moment for agencies and consultants. There's lots of political uncertainty, lots of economic uncertainty. We've got the AI uncertainty. So most people I'm speaking to are struggling to close the big 3K a month e-com contracts these days. But what does seem to be doing well is a lot of the local stuff, the $500 to $1,000 a month to rank you on Google Maps. And I think that's probably the last thing that's going to be overtaken by AI search or anything like that. Even ChatGPT basically uses a kind of Google Maps type thing if you're searching for a local service. So on that basis, if we take that as an example, I would just come up with 5 to 10 topics along the lines of how to rank one on Google Maps. Think about your customer avatars. So SEO for HVAC. Generally, I don't do keyword stuff titles. I'm much more about viral hooks. But even then, I can say how HVAC businesses can 10x their website traffic in the next 60 days. How to rank one on Google Maps. How to need to think about this now. Yeah, how to rank one on Google for $500 a month, something like that. Get those recorded. So get the script, get Loom. They're not expensive. Really, don't worry too much about lighting or anything like that. Just sit down and try and get those videos done as a screen share. If you've already got clients, then great, walk through a screen share. Don't need to give away what the client is, make it all anonymous. Especially for local, if you've got any of the grids where you can go from it was red to it was green. Don't worry about giving away all your secrets because your ideal clients want you to do it for them. They're not going to go away and do it themselves. So you can be entirely open about the software you use, the techniques you use. And then, have a lead magnet of some sort. So if we take that example, do all those videos, copy all the transcripts, put them into Claude and say, write me the ultimate ebook for local map rankings. And then when you come to publish those videos, go back and in the first minute of each one, you want to open with the hook. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to rank number 1 on Google Maps in the next 30 days. But first, make sure you click the link below, go to my website. I've got a free download for you of my ultimate guide to ranking in Google Maps, and it will save you from watching this whole video. You can give it to your team and they can implement it for you, or otherwise we can do it for you as well. And there's an apply now link. So you've got your hook to open the video, you've got your call to action to get them into the email list, then you've got the video content, and then just drip those videos out. I'd probably say 1 a day. I'd say you're probably better off getting them all out in a week rather than doing this whole I'm going to sit on it for 6 weeks so I only want to publish 1 a week. Just get the content out there so it can actually serve you. And I'd be willing to bet the feedback loop you'll get from that will be pretty special. When you start seeing downloads coming in, start getting the inquiries coming in, you're going to have the same experience I had of, my God, this actually works. I'm now going to 10x this and do a video every day. Excellent.
Well, great practical tips, Stewart. So I don't know if this is a question this is a yes or no question.
I go to Brighton occasionally, so the April one, it's not on my radar currently, but I don't think I'm going anywhere else, so I might be able to make it.
Okay, excellent. We'll see.
It's obviously one of the biggest conferences in the industry, but it is quite clean, quite corporate. So a lot of the people you meet, generally, they've not been in the industry that long. They're very nice people working for big agencies, but you're not going to get a whole load of the really interesting, weird knowledge bombs there.
No. So this is a question from Laust. When it comes to classical SEO, there is this old joke: if you want to hide a course. Where's the best place to hide it? Answer on page 2. And there's so much content on page 2. And worse, how does that work with YouTube? How much content on YouTube? Let's see here. Or more or less, how does it work on that issue? I don't know. Do you understand this question?
Yeah, so it's the viral growth versus evergreen strategy, I think.
Yeah.
So YouTube videos can absolutely rank on YouTube, rank on Google for inbound queries. And that has happened to me. I've had a Google Knowledge Panel video on how I got my Google Knowledge Panel video, and that's consistently performed over time. But generally speaking, I've not been too successful with that. I'm much better off doing what I say, which is how to maximize your returns in the next week without doing too much work, getting that video to get 2,000-3,000 views in the next 48 hours. And then a week or two later, I wouldn't say it's dead, but yeah, you're getting very residual views from that. But it only takes me an hour to then go and record another one and do the same again. So I'd much rather do 3,000 views, 3,000 views, 3,000 views, publish a video multiple times a week, rather than this idea of I'm going to try and rank organically for Backlink Strategies 2025. I might be successful. But yeah, I've done something like 300 YouTube videos now. How many of those are actually ranking well? Some are doing okay, but generally speaking, go for the virality.
Yeah. But when you push publish, Stewart, do you do anything afterwards regarding to get the traffic to your video?
No. So when you're first starting out, they do say the more engagement you can get, the better. So in the early days, I'll say this quietly, I did play around with a bit of artificial engagement, but very quickly the genuine engagement was working out for me. I had enough genuine interaction, genuine comments. I didn't need to worry about that anymore. But yes, CTR manipulation works for YouTube. There's so many things you can do, even using things like paid ads, things like that. But ultimately, I found a bad video was still a bad video. It doesn't matter how hard I hit it with external stuff. If the hook wasn't there, if it wasn't engaging enough, it still didn't perform. Whereas you get the right hook, you fulfill all those criteria, you get something that's genuinely sparks off all those things. So you get the click, and then you retain that clicks for the full watch time, because you've said in this video, I'm going to show you how to achieve this amazing thing. But first, here's my lead magnet. Don't forget to come back to us later on in the video, because I'm going to reveal this thing. They talk about open loops. I'm not very good at this, but I'm getting better at it. You want to keep on seeding what's coming up. So I'm going to tell you about this amazing thing, but first, let me just show you this other thing. Okay, now on to the other thing I mentioned, but don't forget, we've got one other great thing coming right at the end. If you do all of that, you don't really need to worry about engagement. Those first 10, 20 views you've got absolutely can blow you up. Like I said, I've literally seen new channels appear from nowhere. They've got maybe 8 videos on there, but one of them has got 70,000 views. So I still go for brute force. I still go for volume. Still only getting 1,000 views per video ish. But yeah, my recommendation for a lot of people probably would be try and be strategic. If you really think about the scripting and get it all right, and you get 50,000 views with one video, then you're sorted.
Yeah, perfect. Just no questions here. Just want to show, Stewart, people appreciate you. Awesome knowledge here, Stewart. And how Jesus, your content is brilliant. Thanks. Very useful. So
thank you, Chet.
So anyway, I think we'll round it off here. Thanks a lot, Stewart, for your time. You've inspired me to work hard on my YouTube channel, and hopefully I'll see you at Copenhagen. Who knows? That's
absolutely
great, man. And to anybody out there, thanks for your questions and comments, and have a great day, everyone. And, yeah, if you just stay on while I shut down this. Yeah. All right.
Would you always recommend go very niche for new channels, at least?
Let's have the last question here from last.
I'd probably go for mass appeal, to be honest. So I've not played around with this too much, but it does often feel like with SEO, the SEO market is smaller than it used to be. There's no denying that. It's still a very valuable market. It's my market. I'm not going to jump ship and try and start afresh somewhere else. But every now and then I do sort of, peer over the top, and you look at people who just do, sheer, how can I put it, mainstream content for normal people. So it can be travel blogs, things like that. Now that so many of us treat YouTube as a TV channel, I'm finding this. So I've been thinking about, how am I going to spend more time in Thailand, Vietnam? And now I'm getting all these videos recommended about my life in Vietnam, and those videos get 50,000 views or something. Now the revenue per user is going to be lower because it's a different niche. But yeah, in my case, I'm always tempted to get better at the sort of faceless YouTube bandwagon. I've not played around too much yet, but there's some really interesting stuff out there. I'm not really up for the whole just sign up for this software product that generates you a load of mid-journey images and then spams it with YouTube shorts on ancient history facts. But there's a software tool I use called TubeNicheFinder.ai, and it shows you new channels that are blowing up, that are exploding. And I find it fascinating just once a week checking in and seeing the kinds of channels that are blowing up right now. And what you generally find is some people are creating these faceless channels where it's not just AI spam. They're actually curating really quite interesting media brands, basically. So I found one the other day that was all about Vietnam War documentaries. And they basically put together a load of archive footage, and they had 11 labs recording over the top. And brand new channel, but getting 10, 20,000 views per video. And you think that's one of those sort of tribal niches where you could very easily have some sort of community aspect to that. Or even if you're just selling merchandise and t-shirts, if you join the Vietnam tank spotters community, it's one of those really passionate tribes you can tap into. Another niche that keeps on coming up is the, dare I say it, more sort of softcore adult stuff where it's almost like fan fiction. They're doing AI films based on popular culture characters. So you need to be a bit careful with the intellectual property there. But you do think they're getting a serious volume on Princess Leia fighting with an octopus creature, which has no erotic undertones whatsoever, I'm sure. But you think if you got one of those videos that got 200,000 views, and then you just slipped in an affiliate link in the description to an AI girlfriend or a particular OnlyFans creator, something like that, then I'm sure that would convert pretty well. So yeah, in terms of going very niche, no, I'd say keep it broad. I think, it is all about engagement. I think certainly with SEO, sometimes it feels like shouting into the void. If I go on my channel and talk about the correct anchor text ratio and do follow versus no follow, that video is going to get 200 views. Whereas if I did a travel documentary on my week in Vietnam that we shared together, I'm sure that would be much bigger and get much more wide stream appeal.
So I hope that answered your question. Lars also said that he subscribed to your channel, so that was,
thank you very much.
Perfect. Great, man.
Adam Collins. I had a beer with him last night.
Who's this?
Adam Collins.
Oh, okay. Excellent. Just to, you mentioned, I think was it Matt Kenyon you mentioned, who also, somebody who did a YouTube channel, an SEO YouTube channel, but only had done 8 videos, but they all were hugely successful. I mean,
yes, so I've no connection to him, never met him before. But there's one Google Search Console tutorial that just kept on hitting my home screen. Someone who mentioned about page 2 of Google there, that's one thing you've got to remember about YouTube, that with Google, you've only got those 10 slots on page 1 of Google. Whereas with YouTube, you've got that full home screen and you've got the related videos. It really is that shared market. People talk about Facebook ads being the same, where you're not competing for these 10 slots. You've got these infinite opportunities. So yeah, Matt Kenyon, this video just kept on coming up in my feed. First it was 10,000 views, then it was 30,000 views. And eventually he had 70,000 views on the Google Search Console tutorial. And I go and look at his channel, and there's only 8 videos on there. And then he's got 15, 20,000 subscribers. So really good stuff. Not my way of doing it. I go for volume. But if you want to go for quality, there are people like that who are doing extremely well.
Exactly. So these 2 different examples of how you can approach the strategy on YouTube. Excellent, Stewart. I think we will just end it here. Thanks, everyone, and have a great day. And if you can just stay on, Stewart, just for 2 seconds.
Yes, to sync up the stream. Great. Thank you very much, everyone.